All right, we're going to get started. It's the 17th of November. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's
Good.
great. So real simple, not a whole lot tonight to cover because we went over going live a while back, and I figured you guys could go back through and find that video. But if you needed more details, that was more about going live in general on your page, working on making your brand, getting out there. I heard somebody talking, actually it was Jackie Blessed from Home Office, about the block parties this week, the Facebook block parties. And she said, go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and go live in your virtual parties, which is what kind of spawned my thought to do this tonight for y'all. So kind of wanted to brainstorm with some ideas. So it's not so much something to look at, although I will show you one thing that I have done, but some ideas of what you can do. So with a virtual party, you can do a couple of different things. There is several directors who are doing a full-out party from start to stop on their virtual party. So they're having an hour of their time throughout this week of the party to have a set time to where they're going to go live, and they talk it up. So that's one idea. And with that, you would post something simple like, I'm going live on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Mark your calendars, meet me there. And then they literally do almost like a whole show right then and there inside of a show. And so I saw Friel do it, and she is a director that's she spoke with us in our summer shorts this summer, and she has videos that you can get a hold of, and if you want one, let me know. If you're watching this in replay, then they'll comment and I'll connect you to them. But she literally does like an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert completely in demo style in her kitchen. And she's the only one there. And so she's walking around and doing things and doing all the recipes. We cannot watch the questions that pop up while we're doing this, so don't have that as an overwhelming factor for you. It's not a contributing factor. But what you can do is if you have a teammate who's training, you could have them there with you, and they could read the comments. You'd have them look on their phone or on your tablet or however you're doing that. So there's an option with that there, but you don't have to have that. You can just let them know, while I'm cooking, I can't be watching your questions, so I will check, and maybe give yourself a couple of breaks between cooking spells of what's going on, like while you're waiting for something in the microwave to finish or something like that. You can go check and look. But if you don't have that, you have to do that. That will help you not feel overwhelmed with that. The other thing you can do on your virtual show is you can record something that you've done as a demo itself and then play that at a certain time and talk it up as well. You can also do it as a watch party. So what you do as a watch party is you save that video, and then on Facebook you go in and click on a video and do watch party. And then so it pulls up that video at the same time. So you're actually watching yourself or somebody else's demo if you want to use somebody else, but you can watch the comments that are happening at the same time, which is really cool. So there's that as an option. Also, just even if you don't do it as a watch party, just to do your video, it's done. It's nice to have several of those inside your repertoire or on your channel, or however you want to phrase it, where you can pull off some of those so that if you are busy and you can't go live in person live, you can sit there and play that recording and have it done that way. So these block parties, if you have not heard what those are yet, is where you have 4 to 6 hosts at one time in one event. They still have their own individual Consultants Cornered shows. They're individual hosts, individual shows. It just happens that you're doing all the postings for all of those parties in one Facebook group. So it's really easy to sit there and have one demo for all of those. And if it's something you pre-recorded, then you don't even have to be on at that moment that that's playing. So think about that, you guys. One of the reasons people are hesitant with virtual is because they feel like their products are not being seen in use. And so you can counter that by having yourself on there, whether it's as you're going live or something that's pre-recorded and you play.
So on the pre-recorded, do you usually save those as YouTube videos?
I do. The only main reason being is once they're in YouTube, you don't have to have them on your computer, and they can get kind of heavy as far as like size-wise. And so to me, that's an extra place for storage. If it gets lost, no huge tragedy I can recreate. I mean, obviously, if it happened right before a party, I'm not going to be a very happy camper. But
I had seen something this last week or so of people having trouble with they felt like they were getting in Facebook jail because of YouTube, and somebody that got blocked on YouTube, and I don't really know what the
Well, it's
reason was.
not because of your own content. It'll never be because of your own content. It's where you're saving somebody else's videos on your page and then reusing it. So the ones
like
that I
if we
think
were
most people
saving
are
the
getting
home
caught
office
with,
ones.
yes, they're reusing them again and again and again and again. But if it's your personal video that you've recorded, put on your channel, and are using in your shows, unless you're doing it 90 times a week, I can't see that being a problem. And from what I understand, that's what people were using, was the home office videos, and rehashing them over and over again. So I think that's mostly the problem there. Both groups are really, Facebook and YouTube are very much into what they call organic, which just means it's yours, it's original to you. I hate the phrase organic. It's definitely being overused right now. Sorry, my son's trying to call in. So it's definitely being overused right now. But I think the more we try to make things our own and unique to us, the less we're going to have an issue with that. And that's pretty much what they have told us. So if we follow along with that, I think we're good. Should I think of where we were going with that? So that's one way. You can do a recorded, pre-recorded, and you guys, the videos also don't have to be a whole show. So that's the next thing that I was going to mention. You can do simple videos. You can do a simple demo. You guys have seen. If you haven't seen, you can go out on my page, and I have the peanut butter demo. I've done it multiple times. You can you can do the peanut butter, and then you can show how it washes. The peanut butter itself is less than 2.5 minutes long. Scoop it all out into a jar or a container or a jar, whatever, and then put some water in there and show it washing itself. The other thing is you don't have to show the whole process. They sit there and say, for the most part, videos, they have about a 6 to 7 minute attention span, and the people are done.
Well, and you know, with the blender, it's so loud that it's really hard to do something. I've seen other people's where they were trying to talk over the blender where it's making noise, and it's really difficult to do that.
Well, and the bits and pieces that I have done with that is I will pause while it's working and then speak when it pauses. So like when you're doing a soup, I did not stay on there the whole 30 minutes, but it does that chunk and then stop, and then it whirs it and then it stops. So I did a couple of comments with that explaining what it was doing, and then I got off. So, yeah. And with the blender, washing it, when it washes itself, that's just a couple of minutes. You can talk while it's gaining heat, and then when it just spins and it's done, you can just let it go, and then you can talk when it's finished. Multiple things. A couple of other things you can do. There's a couple of very simple photo editing programs. Most phones have one. I know iPhones do. I think it's called iFilm or iFilmmaker, something like that. And you can take little videos and splice them together and make it into one video. So my video that I use is a 15-minute video that I just did a couple weeks ago, and it's the tomato basil soup, and then peanut butter, and then chocolate mousse. But I paused it or stopped the video while it was doing most of the process and came back on and said, okay, hey, look, the soup is done. And said, I'm going to pour it into this bowl, and I'm going to show you how it washes. And then I, paused it and then came back and did. So some of it, obviously, for the 30 minutes, you can't pause because your phone will shut off. But you can. Did
you have any trouble washing it after the tomato basil soup? Because I'd seen some people say that they had trouble with it getting gunk, like having to scrub down in the blades more because it built up kind of a gunk in there.
No.
But then I saw something else that talked about using. Huh?
What? Go ahead.
Somebody else had talked about putting ketchup in there, making things come out. So it's like.
Well, the ketchup is what they're using to help break the acid down of what's been scorched on the bottom.
Yeah.
I have yet to have mine scorch. I've had a couple of little spots of the toothbrush, not toothbrush, the dual-sided cleaning brush cleans, and that's just been like a one-time thing. I've never had to wash it a second time. Actually, the peanut butter is the harder one to clean out sometimes because that stuff sticks to the sides and doesn't want to come out. But by doing the pausing or the stopping, depending on the duration of what you're doing with the blender, it allows you to pick back up, and then you can make your video one big long video. But the nice thing about that is you have control, and if you end up totally botching something, you can then restart it or redo it, and you already cut that part out. But you don't have to do the whole 30-minute recipe from cutting up the vegetables to cooking it to finished all that way through. No one wants to stay on for 30 minutes and watch a blender spin. So I get that. A couple of other things you can do, it doesn't even have to just be the blender, is you can do videos around either putting all your ingredients into the quick cooker and turning it on and saying, see you later, I'll show you pictures, or you can sit there and say, this is what I did, and it's done, and you can show the release of the steam, and you can dish it out and show them a finished plate. That probably almost has more effect than anything else because they see the finished product instead of just seeing it in a picture. So just know that you don't have to do the whole thing, but any of those things that you do in a virtual party shows you are a real person and you do use the products. You're not just talking about it on a pretty post, especially since so many of these posts are copied from other people. And it also puts a face to your name. And when you're talking to them in the group, they can now picture who you are. So a couple of other things to do aside from product demos themselves is to get on briefly in the beginning and the end of your show. So they're mentioning to get on in the beginning and introduce yourself and explain a little bit about how the party goes and about the benefit of being interactive and answering questions and being involved and getting their friends involved. Then the other thing you can do is go towards the end and thank them for the party, thank them for their orders, talk about how they can wrap it up, talk about bookings at that point in time. Again, it just puts that personal touch on a virtual show instead of it just being, you know, a faceless name on the other side of the internet for them. If you are doing squee, there is a way to go live on your squee parties. There is a video on PC Squeeters, Pampered Chef Squeeters, that explains it. And what you do is you create a slide for your video. You go on YouTube and schedule a time to go live. And then you connect the two that way. You've got link you copy over into your squee slide. And then when the time comes for the party, you'll actually be on YouTube, but people will see it on squee. So I know that probably just sounds like Greek to people like April. Sorry, I had to pick. But yeah, it actually does work. And if you want more information on that, comment and I will let you guys know how to get to that link because there's somebody who actually walks through step by step. And I have done it a couple times. The first time I did, I have to tell you, it was a funny story. So I'm talking to my host on Facebook chat as I'm doing her squee party, and we cannot figure out why the live's not working. And it was because my camera was being used talking to her, so it would not connect and use the camera on YouTube. So you can't be on the same camera. If I had her on my phone, I would have been fine, but I didn't. I had her on my webcam, and I was trying to use my webcam for that. It didn't work. So oddly enough, it doesn't switch back and forth. It just stays there, and that's what you do. So that's pretty much about what I wanted to cover. I figured I'd see if you had any questions. Looks like a bulk of you will be watching this in replay. April, any questions or ideas you've heard?
Nope. If I need any help, I'm going to be asking you.
I get it. I get it. It's just a way to keep involved, keep being involved in your shows. I absolutely believe in this. When I first started virtual shows and didn't do that, I felt like there was kind of a disconnect. So I'm not knocking you. If it's working for you, then great. For me, I'd rather stand in front of you for an hour and explain it all than to sit there and try to figure out how to put it all into words over and over again. So if I can do a combination of both and work it into virtual, I'm excited with that. And like I said, it can be simple little bits and pieces. And if you are camera shy, I'm going to encourage you to try it anyway. If you absolutely do not want to be on camera, as far as all of you, you can also aim the camera down onto your counter and show your hands. Have you guys seen those tasty videos that are out there? They show the hands that come through and dump all the ingredients into the pan and stir it up and make a dish. You never see that person, you see hands. And it is totally possible to do that. You can talk.
That's good when you're having a bad hair day, you know?
Right. Exactly. You can talk, you can show they can hear your voice, but they don't have to see your face. And you can sit there and do that in front of the camera and they never have to see you. So I would encourage you to get past that. I'm one of those ones who had to get past that. But in the meantime, it's better to do something than nothing. So I'm going to encourage you guys to do that. Melissa, any questions? She's shaking her head no. Okay. All right. April, anything else, my dear? All right. So I need some ideas for next week, what you guys want to cover. I know we're getting close to Thanksgiving. Actually, that is the week after.
What about Black Friday ideas?
Okay, I can do that. We can.
Because I've seen some stuff coming through, and I'll scrounge around and see what's coming through on Director Success and feed that back to you. And
that down.
But there's some things that I've got saved on my computer too, so I think we could talk about that. I mean, Melissa, is that something that would be helpful? Things to do for, yeah, because I think, Black Friday or, and Small Business Monday, or
Cyber Monday,
Saturday, and Cyber Monday, because we will know the specials. They're going to announce them this coming week, and so we'll know what our specials are going to be in advance, and so we can kind of figure out how to be able to make the most of those. Why don't we talk about that?
We can do that for next week. Absolutely. And some of the easiest ones in the world, even if without any of those specials advertised yet from home office, is to offer free shipping if they pick up with you local. Yeah. A lot of people jump on that. Cyber Monday will probably be free shipping with the order online. It's usually what it is.
Probably.
Like that.
Probably.
So that's something that would work easily for that too. So.
But, the thing is that people are already asking that have parties open, are y'all doing something for Black Friday? Meaning that they're thinking they're going to get it for their party, and it doesn't work in parties.
It doesn't work that way.
But we'll talk more about that Sunday.
Well, we could always sit there and talk up the specials that are on that flyer that's not in the catalog and tell them those are specials they can get now with their shows.
Yeah.
Talk those up like that's them. Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. We have this flyer. Let me show you these bundles that we've got going right now. Those would be perfect for you to add on before they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not going to know that they were for the whole season.
But we'll work.
Not that you're going to lie and say, oh, this is a Friday special, and it's not. But I mean, like, you can just sit there and point out a special. No, we have these great specials. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. All
right, you guys.
Melissa, thank you for getting on. You are all faithful here. You're like always steady Eddie. We appreciate you.
You guys have a great week.